Is Hoeing healing? Is there healing in Hoeing? What is your thoughts on that?
I want to jump in really quick because my overall answer is no. And the reason I say that is because healing comes from within. And you using any type of external source to try to find that healing, where you can arrive at that through Hoeing in a sense, but it's still because you decide to look within after that period of time of realizing that, yo, what the fuck am I doing? And then you start to really self-reflect. It can stimulate that, sure, but I feel like healing generally comes from when you intentionally decide to look within, and it has nothing to do with anything external to yourself.
It's not bad. Not bad. Anybody else want to before before I speak and what I think?
I mean,
I don't hear anything.
No, man, Brian, you ain't speaking a good word, man. Go ahead, man, Brian. Go ahead, man, Brian. What do you think? Is there healing realistically?
Realistically, there is no healing at home. Like you could be relieving pressure if you got some pressure build up, or you need to put it out there. I for that, but don't consider it healing. Hoeing is hoeing. If you hoeing, for revenge, hoeing because you felt like you missed out on something, hoeing to relieve the pressure, I support that. Man or woman, that's your life. Just do it safely. So call it healing and say you're going on a journey by
finding
bullet,
yourself and thing.
finding yourself in the bed of a stranger. Let's be realistic. Come on. You're fooling yourself because you're fooling me. If you want to be the yellow lines on the road and say you're in the streets, so be it. But don't call it healing.
Talk to me, Kenny. I go in completely last, man, because every time on this pod, I get painted as like the neighborhood horror or something. But
Nah,
no, cause a lot of times it's my stories, them getting exposed. Them thing I sit in this one in the back seat, I laugh
I would
for
say,
and the show
you
was.
see, so I think maybe I might probably kind of tailor this is Hoeing healing to a more of a matter is physical casual encounters, you know. So I think it's more of a matter of I do think it opens up a pathway for you to heal or to get over that person. Maybe it may not be the best way or the more appropriate way to go about it, but I do think in time. So like I'll use my example, since I'll be the bad guy, I'll be the villain today. But it's like I've been hurt before, and I'm not going to say like I went out to try and dog out a heap of woman for the sake of healing purposes. But I think my mentality was I thought I couldn't find someone else again. And then granted I had some partners, some friends who was like, dude, like life is gonna keep going, you're gonna always find somebody else better. So I did start to explore more casual dating, more for the sake of talking to different, women, just trying to feel out, I would say try to get over that person. But like what Farah kind of segue to is like, I do think healing is something eternally. So I had to be good with myself first to say like, I am okay being by myself. I'm okay if I talk to Susie, Sandra, Veronica, whoever it may be. And I guess that's kind of like how I kind of played the game a bit, you know what I mean? Would I consider it like straight on full blown Owen? No.
Okay.
But I would say it was more I dated people, I dated more individuals. I dated, like I got to know people. Was other things involved? Yeah, probably sure, whatever. Was I locked in to where I was trying to form commitments with these individuals? No, I wasn't. But that's kind of what my point. I guess that's how I view it as, Is it Owen? Maybe it is.
But let me ask you this then: Were you, since you say it was just to get to know them and you had no intention of being in any kind of relationship with them, could you say then that you were engaging in these encounters to get your confidence back, to see if you still had it?
Probably, but I think the confidence, it wasn't like I would say it was like a lack of confidence. It was more of a matter of me comparing my past relationship to what else I'm going to
So what you looking for now?
yeah.
Okay.
So it's like, well, this girl was the best thing since fried rice, you know what I mean? But then it's like, I met somebody else who makes some better fried rice, And, I guess it wasn't me to just lock down. I'm not going to say that once you find your person, your person is your person. But I think we, as men, we tend to have a delusion of, I could be wrong. I only speak for myself, right? That if something doesn't work out, it's the end of the world. That's the end all be all. I can't move on. I can't move forward with my life. And I think if there's a matter of that realization is like that, tell yourself like it's okay, dad. Still got a lot of plenty fish in the sea, and then you take the appropriate steps to move forward.
Fair. Kev,
Yeah.
talk to me. What do you think?
Yes, sir. So right after that, my answer is no. But let me explain why I have empathy for those who do think that hoeing is healing, right? And for that, I'm gonna dig into my psychology bag real quick. You check. Are you familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
A little bit.
I ever heard. So it's
I've heard it,
basically
but not familiar to it.
it's basically like a pyramid that describes like a series of our human needs that range from the most basic thing like food,
Shelter.
sex, water. Then you get shelter. Then you get belongingness, self-esteem, and self-actualization, right? And self-actualization is basically describing where we are able to reach our highest potential, and so when we break down kind of what like self-esteem is the fourth part or the fourth level of that pyramid. This the one before self-actualization. When our relationship ends or any kind of disappointment we might experience, it'll impact our self-esteem, right? In some way, shape, or form. Because we start to draw negative conclusions about ourselves and different things that we do. And as Tafari and Kenny mentioned, that healing definitely comes from within. You have to be able to stimulate that yourself. However, the belongingness portion is below the self-esteem. And what that tells us is that in order to contribute to establishing a healthy sense of self, we have to interact with how others perceive us and experience us. So there is an external element, right? But where the yesers may go wrong is to the degree by which that motivation continues to be extrinsic versus converting it into an intrinsic kind of way. So like, and that's influenced by like a lot of stuff. For men especially, I find that our culture around the merit and valor that we are conditioned to get from the idea of sleeping with so many women, that cultivates our idea of what our sense of self should be revolved around. You check. So what that means is that you kind of have like that as a default and not by your own choice. You check. So like you enter a breakup. We are already in very well conditioned to really interact and process our emotions. So we don't even know what's going on. You know what I mean? And you just defaulting into what you have been repeatedly kind of exposed to. And that is the idea, like, you just got up your body count or something like that. Or just
the very
or just the natural, extremely stimulating aspects of sex in and of itself. And so when we absorb that, if we having those kind of experience, if you have previously told yourself like, man, I worthless, nobody attracted to me, I can't get nobody else again. If you aren't able to take your external experiences and use those as evidence for you being a person worthwhile, then you will continue to eat that kind of validation for breakfast and not actually internalize it. It's like the difference between consuming something and internalizing it. It's like you consuming something, it'll go out like waste and you need it again. But if you're internalizing it, that it houses within you. You know what I mean? It's staying there. And so that kind of loop getting from the consumption to internalization is really the hard part. And I think what really differentiate what people believe to be healing in that stage versus what healing actually means.